Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with DIVO TED Talks, Devoted Talks, however you want to say it, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience to help you and those you love in suffering in your greater world and above. If you're seeing this, go ahead and click like and or follow. It really helps the channel. It really helps me know what content you like. So if you go and listen to other episodes, start liking them, start leaving comments on them, start letting me know what you're feeling. The channel's really growing and I'm really excited, and that's podcast and YouTube, and you can find me on both. And if you don't listen to podcasts and you want to know what I look like, look for my YouTube, Devo Wellness. Anyway, it's Easter Sunday here. I know you're going to get this a lot later, but it's just a really energetic day. Like, it's rainy and dreary here and humid and not great, but it felt good to teach on a holiday, and I got to choose whether I was teaching or not, and it was good people and good assembly, and it was just awesome. And I felt compelled to record a video because I'm in that state. I told you I'm committing to trying to feel the message and be the message when I have it, rather than necessarily moving through it slowly. But sometimes I will record when it's slower and a little bit distracted, because I feel like sometimes we as people are that way too. So you should see me in all the states that I offer. So I will be more judicious about it, but I'm not about this perfection real life. Like, I don't really I show up as I am, and I am really this energetic most of the time, but sometimes life hits me sideways, just like it hits you sideways. I mean, it's hard out there, friends. It's hard and it's challenging. But no matter what you believe or ascribe to, as far as religion, as far as what interests you or your faith is based in, right? It could be from agnostic to atheist to Christian or Judaism or beyond. And it doesn't matter, because this day has a higher, lovely energy, and it has to do with this time of year, right? So even if you're not celebrating the resurrection of Christ, it does feel like the bursting of buds, the emergence of new. And if you live in a more tropical climate, it hasn't changed that much, or it has a little bit, but like in places that have seasons, especially where I live, it's really just coming alive, and there's a swelling of life back into the limbs, and a reawakening, a resurrection, such as it is. And I've talked about it many, many, many episodes ago, but one of my favorite songs from hymns from the Methodist hymnal was Hymn of Promise. In the seed and apple tree, in cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the snow and dead of winter, there's a spring that waits to be. Unrevealed until its season, something only God alone can see. And such a beautiful thing. But again, it's not about the words, and it's not about the connotation. It's the feel. Seasons are happening, and a lot of these religions that have existed and or spiritualities have songs, and they have practices related to this, because it just carries an energy with it. And if you can hold it lightly, you can enjoy all of them, because why not? It's all here to be enjoyed, right? So long as it isn't low energy and segregating or I don't know, segregating, or, isolational or isolationing, isolating. It is, I don't know what's happening with my words, allergies, maybe. It could be celebrated, right? We get so stuck on, that's not my religion, that's not my thing. But I guarantee if you went through all of the texts of different religions or different ways of practicing and interacting with life, you would find things that mean something to you, and find things that you appreciate deeply. And that's good. That should happen. And you should be open to that happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be looking for it or like expect it. But like, if you can gain benevolence from something, why wouldn't you do it? Right? And that's kind of what I was talking about in the yoga class. Again, I don't mind teaching on holidays, and I love the good vibes on holidays. Everybody's just like, relax. I wish every day could be a holiday, right? I long for the day that I'm retired and I can every day be a Saturday feeling. But I did need to get commitment, because then people are like, oh, it's raining and I don't want to come. And you know what? People committed and they came, and it was great and it was awesome. And I set a boundary. I will show up to teach this class, but only if you commit that if you cancel, you're going to pay a cancellation fee, period. And you know what? They agreed to it. And it was fine and it was perfect. So I taught the class and I had a safety net to use to, hold myself and other people accountable. And it was great, right? This is a thing that, I've been really talking with people about lately, right? These boundaries idea. Like I actually re-listened to a podcast I did a couple of weeks ago talking about boundaries. And it's okay to set boundaries, but boundaries aren't about other people. They are about the relationship. They are about that area that you share with each other, right? You each have your own barrier or your own fence line. And some people are building their fence line way away from their center and they get in front of their skis, to mix metaphors. Ta-da. And so coming back to this idea, in winter, we have a very closed off, if we're doing winter right, restorative hibernation going on. And so as spring comes, we start to reestablish and invigorate our boundaries. And so we have to know where our boundaries are so that we can communicate so people understand where we're at so that they can respect it in the first place. Like, for instance, talking about teaching the class. I agreed to teach the class and show up and be here ready and raring to go as long as other people put some skin in the game. And they did, right? There was a couple of people who canceled because they were like, I don't know that I'm actually going to come. And I said, okay, that's fine, right? But we gave each other a choice. We gave each other the option, right? When you are talking about boundaries or you have friends or family who talk about boundaries, is there a choice or is it attacking? Is it a choice or is it deciding for you what you're doing, right? Sometimes people like to tell you how you're feeling or tell you what you're doing and don't ever give you the chance to feel that. They're trying to tell you how they feel, but they're telling you how you're acting, even though what they're receiving from you is an interpretation and not necessarily the hard truth, right? So, what do we do in the springtime? Well, we emerge and reinvigorate and we take our time, right? We get our feet underneath of us and we start moving forward, with respect to the fact that we've been asleep, right? I don't expect to come out of winter and run a marathon, although some of you may have trained to do that, and more power to you, right? But we slowly get that moving and then we start to reestablish our boundaries, right? And that's related to the energy we have and the getting our feet underneath of us and the things that, relationally impact us day to day as our lives become more active, as our days get longer, as our social time expands, right? Winter is this more internal thing. And even though some of us live very external in our winter, it doesn't change the fact that the body and the cycles are more inner. And so you can, cause problems if you're not judicious about it, but also, you can rest easy if you don't feel like doing things. Like, it's okay. It's normal. It's natural. And it's not, I need to give you permission. It's that, there's nothing wrong with you if you feel tired in winter. There's nothing wrong for me as a kapha feeling tired in spring. That's expected. There's so much kapha around and I have so much already that I'm just like, I need my get up and go juice. Which means I need more pitta. I need something to transform my kapha into motion, into vata. And so there's nothing wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with being exactly where you're at. But the problem with most people, and I use the word problem lightly, is that they don't know where they're at and they're not taking the time to figure out where they're at. And that's why I advocate for yoga, because it gives people a chance to let go of ideas, at least for an hour, and thoughts, perhaps, hopefully, for an hour, so that they could see where they're at. And then they can make decisions wisely rather than, knee-jerk, reflexive responses when we're just like, oh God, I have to decide now. Right? Life can come at you like that. But when we get our feet underneath of us, we start to be more focused. We start to be more aligned and we start to be able to have presence enough to check in and respond effortlessly rather than this, like, I don't know how I feel, or having trained responses like a Pavlovian thing. I need to tell them yes, even though I don't know what I feel like or want to do anyway. And I have no problem telling people I'm a maybe. And I have plenty of people who said, well, that's just a no. And I'm like, no, a no is me saying I'm not going to be there. A maybe is I will see how I'm feeling the day of or the day before and let you know. or I'll let you know by the date that you are requesting that I let you know by, because boundaries, right? Respect the boundaries. And if I had a thing that I missed the RSVP by and they didn't let me in, and even though I asked, they wouldn't let me in, I go, okay, I accept that because there was a boundary set. And if I missed it, that was my fault, right? Accountability and acknowledgement go a long way. But the only way we can do that is if we actually clear away the remnants of the past, the last year, the winter, the sleep, the hibernation, so that we can see, feel, and act clearly. And then that will lead to the very, very most important aspect of being well and being free.